Okay, so we're looking at implicit or inferred meaning today, and this all ties in with this assessment objective here, 2.2.4, which is detect point of view, implicit meaning, and or bias. Implicit or inferred basically mean the same thing. It's reading between the lines. It's not just reading what is said in black and white, it's thinking about what the writer might be trying to get across, even if they don't say it in a straightforward manner. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at a couple of questions from the exam paper at level 2 that really test your ability to infer or read between the lines. So this question here, what does Joanna Grange believe is the essential skill the sales team needs to provide fantastic customer service? Provide 3 separate quotations from the text to justify your answer. So we know that we need to identify the essential skill, and we know we need to provide 3 separate quotations. So we're going to get 1 mark for identifying the skill, and we're going to get 1 mark each for the quotes to back up our answer. So let's have a look at this piece of text. What I'd like you to do now is pause this video, give these paragraphs here a read through, and see if you can figure out what they might believe is the essential skill needed. Okay, even though Joanna Grange doesn't like bullet point a list saying this is the most important thing, if we read these paragraphs carefully, we do figure out what she believes is the key skill, the most important skill needed for fantastic customer service. And this word crucially should tell us that. If we sort of think about the word crucially, and don't forget you'll have a dictionary in the exam with you if you need to check the meanings of words. Crucially means very important and potentially even the most important. And she goes on to say, making sure we provide the best possible mobile phones to suit a person's lifestyle or their budget. So, there we go. That's our answer to it. So now we need to find 3 pieces of evidence to back that up. We could actually use that quote to back that up. So see if you can find a couple more examples in these paragraphs here. Pause the video and have it. Okay, so this second paragraph here kind of reinforces what we were thinking beforehand, you know. She actually says, more importantly, you will need to accurately assess individual customers' wants, needs and desires so you can match them with the right handset. So she's reinforcing this idea here that it's actually really important. It's possibly even more important than knowing everything about a phone is knowing how to match a phone with a customer. So again, we could use that quote to back that up. And again, she's repeating it here in this third paragraph as well. Matching the right product with an individual will ensure ongoing success for our company. So again, we're getting this clear idea that's repeated throughout. She never actually comes out and says, this is the number 1 most important skill you must have, but she infers it, she implies it throughout the text. And don't forget, when you get your exam with your source documents, you can underline passages. I believe you can bring highlighters in as well if you want to highlight. So you can do basically what we've done here. You can go through and you can underline, you can highlight on your source document paper. That is completely allowed in the exam. So let's have a look at the second question, which requires a bit of inferred reading here. Now, this is for document 2. Never forget to make sure you're answering for the correct document, because a few people have made that mistake, but we'll talk about that later in another video. So, provide 3 examples from the text that show that the author has a negative view of salespeople. So, let's call up document 2. I'm going to pause the video now. Well, you're going to pause the video now and see if you can find some quotes just from this section here that back up this idea that the writer might have a negative view of salespeople. Any quote at all. Okay, so I identified a sentence here which really does seem to suggest that the author doesn't have a particularly good view of salespeople. The fact is used the word danger there, so it's saying there is a danger you could easily be swayed by the pushy sales advisor. So using the word pushy to describe sales advisors there, that's kind of a negative word. So we can highlight that bit there really, can't we? Because he's called them pushy sales advisors. And also the fact he's using the word danger as well. It's almost as if the sales advisors are a little bit dangerous. So both those quotes kind of suggest that we might, the author might have a bit of a negative view of salespeople. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and have a look at these last 3 paragraphs. Pause the video and see whether you can identify any more quotes that suggest that the author might not have a great view of salespeople. Okay, so we've got a few more here. Firstly, this bit here, don't let the sales team gloss over the boring bits with an exclamation mark. It's almost like he's got a preconceived notion of what sales teams do and what sales advisors do, and is saying, well, they're probably going to try and gloss over the boring bits in the hopes that you will ignore that, but you can get caught out. So he's already set it up as if it's almost a confrontation between you and the sales advisor. And again, in this last paragraph here, he says, don't let a savvy salesman convince you a more expensive phone with a swanky video player is better. So again, we're getting this idea, like pushy, savvy, can be a kind of a negative word there, really. It's like a sort of a smart, pushy salesman who's trying to push something on you that you don't need. And again, the closing sentence here reinforces that idea that he has a negative idea of salespeople. Do your research so you only pay for what you want, not what the sales assistants want. So again, is very much phrasing it as if it's a conflict, a fight between you and the sales advisor. So there you go. That is how you might be asked to infer meaning in a text in the exam paper.